use of face masks compulsory in crowded areas. FINAS Act not meant to restrain personal freedoms. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. You're watching news at 10. I'm Mohamed Amin Carlos. Senior Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob has announced that the wearing of face masks in crowded areas and on public transportation is now mandatory starting 1st August. Well, he said the decision is made after considering the advice from the Health Ministry following the recent increase in COVID-19 infections. Speaking at the Parliament lobby, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said those who refuse to adhere to the new ruling can be slapped with a RM1,000 compound notice under the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act 1988.
Sebagai contoh, ada SOP yang telah pun ditetapkan. Apabila menaiki kenderaan awam, kerana tidak ada social distancing ataupun penjarakan sosial di dalam kenderaan awam, mereka mesti memakai pelitup muka ataupun mask topping muka. Tapi didapati hari ini di dalam LRT ke, di dalam bas ke, di mana-mana kenderaan awam termasuk di dalam pesawat, pelitup muka tidak lagi digunakan walaupun kedudukan mereka berhimpit-himpit dan sebagainya. Penjarakan sosial, kebanyakannya kalau kita lihat di tempat-tempat awam, penjarakan sosial sudah lagi tidak dilaksanakan.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said that members of the public are advised to observe the new rule as soon as possible and not wait until 1st August. He said the public is also permitted to use homemade face masks which follow the specifics issued by the World Health Organization. In the meantime, the Dewan Rakyat was informed today that the ceiling price for face masks will be reduced by 30 cent from RM1.50 to RM1.20 per unit beginning 15 August. Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Dato' Alexander Nantilingi said the wholesale price for the product would also be reduced from the current RM1.45 per unit to RM1.15 from the same date.
Ialah selaras langkah menimbangkan keperluan kewajipan pemakaian pelitup muka di tempat awam seperti mana yang telah disarankan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri. Dari segi bekalan tinjauan dan pemantauan mengenai pengeluaran serta pengedaran pelitup muka adalah mencukupi, ditambah juga dengan yang diimport. Jadi soal kebekalan tiada masalah. Jadi pelitup muka turut boleh dibeli juga secara online.
Well, 9 new COVID-19 positive cases were reported in the country today, 6 of which were local transmissions. Health Director General Dato' Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said this brings the cumulative figure of cases to 8,840, including 143 active cases. In a media briefing on COVID-19 today, Dato' Dr. Nur Hisham said of the 6 local transmissions, 4 were Malaysians while the other 2 were foreigners. The 4 local transmissions were detected in Sarawak, which involve 1 case each from the Stutong, Sentosa and Kuching engineering clusters, while the 4th is still under investigation.
Kes jangkitan dalam negara di kalangan bukan warga negara adalah seperti berikut. Di Sabah, 1 kes saringan sebelum dibebaskan dari penjara, dan di Kelantan 1 kes saringan tahanan di penjara sebelum dipindahkan ke depo tahanan imigresen di Tanah Merah, Kelantan.
Also, no new fatalities were reported and the death toll remains at 123 cases. 8 patients have recovered and allowed to be discharged today, bringing the cumulative number of recovered cases to 8,574 cases, or 97% of the total number of cases. To date, there are 5 COVID-19 positive cases being treated in the intensive care unit, 2 of whom need ventilator support. Communications and Multimedia Minister Saifuddin Abdullah clarified that the government does not intend to use the National Film Development Corporation of FINAS Act 1981 to restrain personal freedoms on social media. Now, in a statement this evening, the minister clarified that what he said in Parliament earlier today was merely to explain the FINAS Act as it currently stands. Datuk Saifuddin explained the social media phenomenon did not exist when the law was enacted, adding that his ministry is aware that the law needs to be improved and has already undertaken a review of all laws under its purview. Thus, he noted that the ministry is open to any suggestions to improve all laws under its purview to be in line with current needs. Earlier, during the ministerial question and answer time, Datuk Saifuddin told the August House that all production of films and recording, regardless of whether media agencies or individual media outlets, must apply for license before filming. Explaining the existing law, Datuk Saifuddin said under the National Film Development Corporation of FINAS Act, film producers are required to inform the corporation via existing channels 7 days prior to filming date. However, he added that the government encourages everyone, individuals or organizations, to produce any form of film as long as it is done according to the law. On another matter, the Housing and Local Government Ministry has agreed on the need to review the sale of alcoholic beverages in grocery stores throughout the country. Deputy Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Abdul Muttalib informed the lawmakers that the ministry has also issued instruction letters on 9th June informing all state governments to identify special premises involved in the sale of alcoholic beverages and to heighten enforcement efforts to curb the negative effects of alcohol consumption within the community.
Penjualan minuman keras di negara ini adalah tertakluk kepada Akta Kastam 1967 ataupun Akta 235 dan Akta Excise 1976, Akta 176 yang mana ia terletak di bawah bidang kuasa Jabatan Kastam Diraja Malaysia, Kementerian Kewangan. Seksyen 21 Akta 235 telah mentarifkan liquor yang memabukkan termasuk apa-apa alkohol atau apa-apa cecair yang mengandungi lebih daripada 2% spirit proof ataupun alkohol mutlak. Manakala di bawah Seksyen 32 Akta 176 menyatakan sebarang bentuk liquor yang memabukkan secara runcit memerlukan lesen.
Datuk Seri Ismail added that the ministry through local authorities only issues business premises license under the Trade, Business and Industrial Licensing bylaw after the said licenses fulfill the conditions set by the state government, district office, Royal Malaysia Police and the Customs Department. Well, 2 Rohingya men who are believed to have masterminded the illegal entry of 269 fellow Rohingyas into the country last month were detained in an operation involving 5 agencies in Langkawi recently. Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency, MMEA, Kedah and Police Director, Maritime First Admiral Muhammad Zawawi Abdullah said the 2 men aged 29 and 35 were nabbed after almost 2 months of surveillance. Muhammad Zawawi said the agencies involved in the joint operation were the police, Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, the MACC, Immigration Department and the Royal Malaysian Navy, adding that the 2 had been actively smuggling Rohingya people into Langkawi. Well, it said both men, who are also UNHCR card holders, were arrested in a restaurant in Padang Matsirat at 3 a.m. on 21st July, where they had also tried to offer a 25,000 ringgit bribe to allow fellow migrants in via sea routes. Now, those 2 arrests led to 31 Rohingya illegals being detained in a house in Kuala Turiang that was made into a transit home. The agencies also arrested the caretaker and his Thai wife and another Myanmar man who acted as their transporter. Muhammad Zawawi said the 2 suspects will be investigated under the Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants or ATIPSOM Act 2007 and the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Act. The 34 meanwhile will be investigated under ATIPSOM 2007 and the Immigration Act 1959-1963. An unemployed man pleaded not guilty in the Shah Alam Sessions Court today to improper use of network facilities by making and transmitting offensive statements against the Sultan of Selangor through his Facebook or FB account 2 years ago. Muhammad Haris Saleh, 28, made the plea after the charge was read out to him before Judge Rofia Mohammed. Muhammad Haris was charged with knowingly making and initiating the communication of offensive statement against the Selangor Sultan on his Facebook account with intent to annoy others in 2018. Now, the charge was framed under Section 233, subsection 1, subsection A of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998 or Act 588, with the offence punishable under subsection 233, subsection 1 of the same act. Well, if convicted, he can be fined a maximum of 50,000 ringgit or jail up to 1 year or both, and is also liable to be fined 1,000 ringgit for each day of the offence continuing after the conviction. Now, the court set 24th August for mention. Former Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng has been asked to return to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, the MACC headquarters in Putrajaya on Saturday in connection with the investigation into the undersea tunnel project in Pulau Pinang. An MACC Chief Commissioner, Datuk Sri Azam Baki, said Lim was requested to be present again to provide his statement over the probe.
Beliau memberi alasan tidak sihat untuk datang pada hari ini. Pada hari Sabtu, tak silap saya, dia akan datang semula ke pejabat untuk dilakukan percakapan. Dan berhubung saksi-saksi lain, tidak berapa ramai lagi saksi yang kita ambil. Dan seperti mana saya pernah umumkan semasa saya di Pulau Pinang baru-baru ini, siasatan ini adalah di peringkat akhir untuk kita siapkan.
Penang Chief Minister Chow Kon Yeow, as well as several current and former State Executive Council members, have also been called to provide their statements to the MACC regarding the mega project. The Election Commission, or EC, has set the by-election for the Slim State seat in Perak to be held on 29th August. EC Deputy Chairman Dr. Azmi Sharom also announced that the nomination will be held on 15 August, while 25th August has been set for early voting day. Dr. Azmi said Mualim District Officer Samsul Rizwan Idris has been appointed as the election returning officer. He noted that the by-election is estimated to cost about 4.6 million ringgit. Dr. Azmi said 13 polling centres with 55 voting streams will be provided as the EC targeted 70% voter turnout for the state by-election.
SPR juga bersetuju menubuhkan 2 pasukan penguat kuasa kempen pilihan raya PPKPR untuk memantau semua aktiviti kempen pilihan raya sepanjang tempoh rasmi berkempen. Pasukan PPKPR ini akan dianggotai oleh wakil-wakil daripada pihak polis, pihak berkuasa tempatan dan wakil-wakil calon yang bertanding. SPR akan menggunakan Dewan Seri Tanjung, Majlis Daerah Tanjung Malim sebagai pusat penamaan calon dan pusat penjumlahan rasmi undi.
The Slim State seat fell vacant after its incumbent, Dato' Muhammad Kusari Abdul Talib, 59, died on 15 July at the Bentong Hospital, Pahang, due to a heart attack. Dato' Muhammad Kusari, who represented Barisan Nasional, had retained the seat with a majority of 2,183 votes in the 14th general election in 2018 in a three-cornered contest among Bersatu's Muhammad Amran Ibrahim and Muhammad Zulfadli Zainal of PAS. This is the 12th by-election after GE14, which was held in May 2018. Coming up shortly, COVID-19 provides opportunities to fix Malaysia's economy. Well, Malaysia's economy has been bogged down with structural issues over the years, causing the country lagging behind its counterparts with similar characteristics. However, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Seri Mustafa Mohamad, said COVID-19 pandemic has presented opportunities for Malaysia to address some of these economic issues and implement bold changes and radical reforms on many fronts. Datuk Seri Mustafa said the government will be addressing red tape and regulatory matters, as well as the low technology adoption among firms, especially the small and medium enterprises.
Further, we will ramp up our digital agenda. This morning's conference is about digital banking. We will accelerate technology adoption and automation, especially for SMEs. This will not only increase efficiency and productivity, we will also have to reduce the reliance on low-skilled workers.
Datuk Seri Mustafa added that economic growth competition has particularly become more intense in the last couple of decades, as he cited higher growth rates achieved by Vietnam, the Philippines and Indonesia compared with Malaysia's 4.3% last year. He also said the World Bank reported businesses in Malaysia need 17 days to deal with procedures related to starting a business, which is relatively slower if compared to Singapore and Hong Kong that only needs 1.5 days to go through same process. The minister also said the mismatch between labour demand and supply unemployment among youth and fresh graduates, as well as the low percentage of skilled workers, also need to be addressed. He stressed that the country's heavy reliance on low-skilled foreign workers is contracting the Malaysian economy's ability to compete effectively. The Communications and Multimedia Ministry, KKMM, is always committed to addressing the problems faced by the media industry, as many media organizations have been forced to downsize their operations following the spread of COVID-19. The situation had also forced many media practitioners to accept the fact of being laid off. Now, as the ministry that oversees the media industry, its minister, Dato' Saifuddin Abdullah, today shared KKMM's initiatives made available through the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, or MDEC, to help the people, especially those laid off workers, to develop new skills, hence able to find a job and earn income online. Among the initiatives by MDEC are the Global Online Workforce, or GLOBE Penjana, which is a special program that to help workers and individuals whose income was badly affected by the pandemic. Among the sectors to be focused on is the service sector, where participants can be assigned as virtual assistants, online research officers, translators, as well as graphic designers and programmers. Dato' Saifuddin also shared about the 42KL program, which is a tuition-free computer programming school offering a peer-to-peer learning concept that doesn't involve teachers and lecturers. He said 20 countries had implemented the program thus far, and in Malaysia, the first school will be opened in Sunday City. Next month, he said MDEC will also launch a digital skills training directory to help Malaysians choose training programs that suit their needs and interests and learn digital technology skills related to the industry. Permodalan Nasional Berhad (PNB) has launched RISE, Malaysia's first innovative micro-investing mobile app or application, which enables Malaysians to invest from as low as 5 ringgit. PNB Group Chairman Tan Sri Dr. Zeti Akhtar Aziz said the app is another initiative that leverages digital experience to encourage Malaysians to save and invest.
More than 90% of Malaysians now use the smartphone, which means that almost anyone could start savings in this manner. These incremental savings will then be invested to generate returns. In essence, it is for the convenience of enabling our spare change to be invested. To facilitate this, RACE Malaysia has entered into an exclusive partnership with Maybank in the initial stage of its operations.
Tan Sri Dr. Zeti said RISE Malaysia had entered into an exclusive partnership with Malayan banking Berhad, Maybank, to enable RISE app users to link their app with their Maybank debit cards. She added that the application will be made available to other partners next year. PNB President and Group Chief Executive Ahmad Zulkarnain said it aimed to secure more than 60,000 sign-ups for the app by year-end, adding that the app currently has 15,000 users. According to Ahmad Zulkarnain, all Malaysians may download, register and use the app to start investing with as little as 5 ringgit in their account. He said it is a natural evolution of PNB's outreach initiative to ensure that its unit trust products are easily accessible to all Malaysians. Well, works on the Penang South Reclamation or PSR project cannot commence until its Environment Management Plan or EMP has been approved by the Department of Environment. Environment and Water Minister Datuk Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man said the EMP is one of the 72 conditions stipulated in the Environmental Impact Assessment or EIA of the project.
Saya suka maklumkan bahawa kemusnahan kekal ini akan memberi impak negatif yang signifikan kepada sumber perikanan, nelayan dan jaminan sumber bekalan makanan negara. Kementerian mengambil serius terhadap semua projek pembangunan, terutama projek yang tertakluk kepada EIA.
Speaking at Dewan Rakyat, the minister said the project could be detrimental to the mudflat ecosystem, fishing areas, turtle landing sites in some parts of the coral reef and waters of Pulau Rimau. Datuk Tuan Ibrahim also said the ministry would study the report with transparency and professionally, taking into account the impact of a project of such size would have on the environment. The 17 square kilometre PSR project involves the development of 3 artificial islands of about 1,700 acres in waters of Permatang Damar Laut near Bayan Lepas. It is being developed to finance various infrastructure projects under the Penang Transport Master Plan worth 46 billion ringgit. We begin with local sports. Under-14 Inter-Club Football League, ICFL, is back in action with and in its efforts to organize football development seminar as well as an Under-14 Football League in the country. Well, after successfully organizing the league for the first time last year, ICFL, a platform for Under-14 footballers to showcase their talent, is now in the final phase to organize it again this year, if it gets the green light from the National Security Council, the NSC.
Sekiranya diberi kebenaran daripada agensi yang bertanggungjawab, jadi kami akan menghadkan setiap pasukan membawa penyokong-penyokong. Sebab norma baru ni memang baru bagi kami. Jadi kami terpaksa mengikut apa yang telah ditentukan garis-garis panduan oleh kerajaan. Jadi kita tak boleh nak melangkaui. Jadi apa yang diarahkan, apa yang dinasihatkan, kami akan ikut dan patuhi.
This year's edition is expected to feature 32 teams compared to 16 teams last year. Datuk Kamil was met after witnessing the signing of Memorandum of Understanding with GR Travel and Tours. GR Travel and Tours is the main sponsor for Super ICFL Cup this year with the cooperation from Tourism Malaysia. And that concludes this evening's News at 10. In our top story, use of face masks compulsory in crowded areas. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon for more updates on the latest happenings here and around the world. I'm Muhammad Amin Carlos. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.